Who's helping out today? Thank you so much back there in the video department. Quinny Quantanomo. Well, listen, much appreciated. You can always listen to us on iHeartRadio, the app there too, if you do it from out of state. Tell me where that happens. I'll put you on our map of bureau chiefs. Eric listens in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Andy is in Topeka, Kansas. Paul is one of our bureau chiefs in Anaheim, California. Kristen is in Corpus Christi, Texas. And Ken is a new listener in Charlotte, North Carolina. So thanks. The Bill Squire Friday Get Down, a little over an hour away. Daylight saving time doesn't kick in till later in the weekend. Sunday into Monday, right? Or is it Saturday into Sunday?
I thought it was Sunday into Monday.
I think it's Saturday into Sunday. I think it's tomorrow night into Sunday, right? Everybody gets an extra hour on Sunday morning.
Woohoo.
So that whole thing. MMS doing a fall back weekend. I was talking about this earlier. We just kind of pull out a bunch of songs that we haven't played in a long, long time, and they're cool to hear. And who knows? I mean, that's the reason I like those is because if enough people are like, hey, play that more often, then that's what we'll do. There's not a lot that's really left to chance there, you know. People go, hey, because you run the risk of people going, oh my God. When I was on in St. Louis, I was on a station called The Sound. And the point of it was kind of a chickish alternative. But the point of it was there was like kind of a wild mix there where they would go, we're going to play this and we're going to play this. It was some songs you haven't heard in a while. And people would be like, oh my God, this is great. But then when you hear the song you haven't heard for a while repeatedly, it's less fun. But anyway, fallback weekend is happening all weekend on MMS. Cavaliers will play tonight in Detroit against the Pistons. It's a 7 o'clock start at the Little Caesars Arena. 6:30, right after we roll out, is going to be your Cavs Live pregame coverage. Alan, how come you haven't talked about Kyrie? I don't know what you want me to say. You know, they suspended him 5 games without pay. I don't know what that comes out to.
It's quite a bit of money.
He makes a lot of money, but they also play 5 games in 9 days. So was he going to be a new dude on November 13th?
Well, he finally apologized after
he
they
did. Yeah, I don't.
His own Kyrie way.
Yeah, I don't know if one led to the other. But yeah, he posted something on Instagram. And he released a statement with the Nets and the Anti-Defamation League. They said that they were each going to give $500,000 to appropriate organizations. Thursday, they said he gave a debacle of a press conference. And then the Anti-Defamation League, because he was still like, sorry, not sorry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Anti-Defamation League was like, we're not even going to accept your donation now. And so then he posted something on Instagram that he really had to be dragged kicking and screaming into posting. So it's one of these, like, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a non-apology, but it's just kind of more word salad rather than just going, upon further review, I don't know what I was thinking. I would like to unequivocally disavow a documentary that feeds into anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. It's none of that. It's a lot about my Jewish brothers and sisters and cultural history and how, and I didn't know, and I'm learning and blah, blah, blah. Things that everybody else learned a long time ago. Kyrie Irving somehow just now coming around to it. I don't know. That's the Kyrie thing. Whatever.
I'd actually like to take this time to apologize. I watched a very anti-Semitic video the other day, and it's called Jew by Ari Shafir, and he's not very kind to Jews.
Well, he's also not very kind to comedy either. So,
oh, wow. Take that.
He's got that going for him. So, yeah, I don't know.
You know, Alan, for the most part, I think you're a smart guy, but your ignorance And Bill's ignorance on the Kyrie Irving situation is astounding, period. Flat out. For somebody so well-read, you don't really seem to have it together on this one, my man. Hate the show.
Boy, I hate when people leave me messages and don't tell me why I'm wrong. You leaving me a message to tell me I'm wrong doesn't impress me, does nothing. You need to give me details. Tell me how I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand me. I am wrong a lot. But these messages where, Alan, you sucker, you're wrong, you got to tell me what you're talking about, because you might have your head up your ass.
I mean, is this guy saying that
I don't know what
Kyrie
he's saying.
isn't?
That's my point.
Right.
Yeah. Alan, you're exceedingly ignorant on the subject. You could be 100% correct, but you might also have your head up your ass. You got to tell me where I'm wrong.
Also,
People hit me up all the time and I go, please tell me where I'm wrong. And sometimes they will tell me and I go, well, thank you. And other times they don't know what they're talking about. And I go, nope, I'm still right.
that message just come in? Because we haven't talked about Kyrie at all, really.
Just came in.
Okay. Did it? All I said that was he finally apologized, sort of. Did he not finally apologize, sort of? Like, I don't know what we could have said.
This is my point.
Yeah.
I need more information.
More information, please. If you're probably still listening, give us more information.
Call live.
Yes, that would be way easier to do.
I did get a great message from Jacob on Twitter. He goes, Alan, I'm listening to the show from yesterday, and you mentioned that correlation does not equal causation, and it reminded me something from a college course I took when we were studying stats. And it was kind of just a list of odd correlations.
Ooh, I can name one of them because I almost brought this up on air yesterday.
Yeah.
That the increase in ice cream sales is related to the increase in like robberies or crime.
Like the warmer it is, the more crime there is, that kind of thing?
Well, it was like when ice cream sales are up, there's also robberies are also up. What's the connection? It's like
Right.
summertime is the connection.
Well,
Yeah.
but that is like an anecdotal correlation.
Yeah.
What he sent me is actually it's called spurious correlations, and I think it's funny. They basically just found two things that graph exactly the same, but that's the only thing they have in common. Like U.S. spending on science, space, and technology correlates with suicides by hanging.
Oh, geez.
So obviously correlation does not imply causation. The number of people who drowned by falling into a pool correlates exactly with the number of films that Nicolas Cage has appeared in.
He's in
With
a
your
lot of
X and
films.
Y axes here. Your X-axis being bed sheet tanglings, and your Y-axis is per capita cheese consumption. Per capita cheese consumption. You might be asking yourself, what kind of per capita?
There's many per capita.
Right.
It's like per capita relative to what?
Yeah.
But you can look at just about any category, and we're really at the top, meaning positive on a per capita basis.
There you go. Clip from the Bloom Daddy Show. Per capita cheese consumption correlates with the number of people who died by becoming tangled in their bed sheets. Imagine that. How did Uncle Max die? He became tangled in his bed sheets. Oh, no. Were they freshly out of the dryer? Or you know how you can pull your sheets out of the dryer and they're all tangled up?
Right, and
And then
your
you
neck gets in there.
your neck gets in there. It's a
I
whole
usually
thing.
pull my sheets out with my neck.
Oh,
Use your head.
Yeah.
Wrap it around.
that's a good way to do it. Divorce rate in Maine correlates exactly with per capita consumption of margarine,
Oh.
especially.
Wait, butter, lobster, dipping the lobster in the margarine? Someone serving margarine instead of butter, getting a divorce from it?
What
Yeah.
if your wife's name is Margarine?
No, that's not as likely as mine.
Age of Miss America candidates correlates with murders by steam and hot vapors. These are just
Murders by steam.
How do you
And
murder
hot
by
vapors.
steam?
these are just graphs that lay over each other.
Not
One has nothing
accidental
to do.
death. Murders.
Murders by steam,
steam.
hot vapors, and hot objects. Well, you could kill someone. I mean, you could iron their face to death.
Sure.
You could steam their face. Maybe you were hallucinating and thought they were a giant postage stamp.
You licked them?
Could happen. Total revenue generated by arcades correlates with computer science doctorates awarded in the U.S. That feels like there's some causation there. I don't know. Anyway, people who drowned after falling out of a fishing boat correlates with marriage rates in Kentucky.
Oh. Interesting stuff.
U.S. crude oil imports from Norway correlate with drivers killed in collision with railway train. Anywho, thank you, Jacob, for sending me that. It's just more proof that we are really measuring the right things, I think.
And Poundcake. Who is Bloom Daddy?
He took over for Triv.
And when did you find that out?
Oh, I've always known.
Liar, I hate you.
Yeah, you said he didn't know who he was. Who did you think Ghostbag was talking about?
I thought that was like a store or something in this building.
A store in the building. There are no stores in this building.
Like maybe on the other side.
The other side is a gym and a restaurant that no one's ever
There are
in.
no
both
stores in
of
this
which I
building.
wouldn't know.
I got to go into Zanzibar one of these days and have lunch or something. I'll be the only white guy in there, and I bet the food is bomb.
Amazing. Spicy.
Yes.
A name like Zanzibar just sounds zesty.
Well, I love that. I think it's Ethiopian or something, and I love that kind of food. It's just every time I think of walking back there to go in, everybody, there's like 4 people in there. I assume they're all working there. They don't look happy, and they certainly don't look like they'd be happy
The
to see
restaurant workers.
me.
Nobody's happy in a restaurant.
And nobody's happy to see me ever.
They don't know you.
Just once. That's why they're not happy to see me. Just once I'd like to walk in and have people happy
You want it
to
to be
see
your
me.
cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want them to call me
Norm.
Norm. No one ever calls me Norm.
I'll call you Norm. I'll call you whatever I want, just not late for dinner. Am I right?
What?
Okay.
You
Hey,
like
David.
Hey, Alan. I was just calling to see where you guys stood on the Kyrie deal. So he puts on Instagram that some anti-Semitic, whatever. So he gets suspended for it. That's freedom of speech, right? So why is he being suspended and punished for just weighing his view on it?
You know what
Because
freedom
he's
of speech is?
Well, freedom of speech means that the government can't infringe upon your rights. He's an employee of the
So
National
his
Basketball
job's being
Association.
infringed.
Huh?
yeah, because
His
he's going
job's being infringed.
because he's going against their policy when it comes to speaking about using hate speech.
But he doesn't. It's not like he's using actions and going and.
Right, but they still have a policy.
That's why it's hate speech and not
Hate
it's hate
speech.
actions. I mean, hate actions are violence. That's a crime. I mean, David, what do you do for a living, for instance?
I'm a concrete layer.
Okay, a concrete lawyer. So
Uh-oh.
let me go with concrete lawyer, Mary, all right? I object.
Okay.
All right,
I
that'll work,
object
that'll work.
to that curing that you just did. Yeah, David, so you work for a company, right? I'm sure there are things that you could say publicly that would get you, if not fired, in serious trouble with your employer. And that wouldn't be an infringement on your First Amendment rights. That would be your employer going, bro, I can't have somebody like this in my employ. I can't have an anti-Semite laying concrete.
Fair enough. So, I personally didn't see what he posted on Instagram. Did he didn't come straight out and say like I hate Jewish people though, did he?
He posted a link to a documentary that
had anti-Semitic.
the
views
whole
in
thing.
the documentary.
That's
correct?
correct. That's right.
And then when people called him out
So
on it, he doubled down. He's like, "No, it's not bad. It's he's like, I don't have hate for anybody, but there's some good stuff in here." And just he's trying to act like he's smarter than everybody else, and when it has very
Right,
anti-Semitic views in it.
Right. In Thursday's interview with him, he said that he took the views of the anti-Semitism and he viewed it as the race deal. Like his ancestors were slaves back in the day, and he was viewing it as the same concept.
Yeah, he was trying to create his own yarn wall there, but I mean, the bottom line is that, he can come up with whatever word salad he wants to, but the bottom line is that he was promoting a documentary that has its roots in anti-Semitism. And so the National Basketball, every part of that organization, from his coach to the team to the NBA, they were all putting out statements. Yeah, we don't want anything to do with this, but Kyrie's his own man. Finally, they got so much pressure, they didn't want to do that. They want to let this dope do whatever, So they're like, we got to do something, so we'll suspend you. And then he comes out and is like, hey, I'm really sorry.
Just to make people happy.
Well, that's the right thing to do. You're not placating anyone by coming out and going, yeah, anti-Semitism's wrong. I know everybody wants to have it both sides now. Some things aren't both sides.
Correct, but if the right thing to do would be suspending him as soon as he said it. It wouldn't have been waiting until people come into a big uproar.
You are correct. Yeah, I agree with you. But companies have to be dragged kicking and screaming into these things.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
listen, I next time I need a concrete lawyer, David, I'm going to call you. So don't lose my number. Okay.
I've been real good in court lately. Yes,
thank you. All right, David. Thank you. I mentioned that. Why am I drawing a blank? Oh, Byron Allen wants to buy the Washington Commanders now that Dan Snyder looks like he's going to sell that team. And you mentioned Bezos.
Yeah,
And Bezos and Jay-Z want to buy the team too. Byron Allen is like a secret weapon that a lot of people don't know about. If you're not familiar with Byron Allen, he is, I don't know if he's the richest black man in America. Maybe Jay-Z. But Byron Allen is a guy who was a comedian back in the day. He started doing stand-up when he was like 14 years old. Jimmy Walker used to bring him up on stage to open for him. And if you're my age, you remember a show called Real People back in the day that had these 4 different hosts, and they would do, vignettes. It was kind of a Sunday night feel-good show. They'd do these vignettes on kind of wacky Americans. It was called Real People, and Byron Allen was part of that show. And somewhere along the line, he figured out, hey, why don't I start a company that sells programming to satellite companies in kind of the earliest days of satellite and cable and things like that? Byron Allen started a company where he was producing programming that he'd call. If you ever heard him tell the story, it's wild. He would get on the phone and he'd call television affiliates around the country and go, hey, I've got this program and you can throw it on at night. You pay me this much, sell some advertising. I'll take a cut. Well, he's grown it into a multi-billion-dollar company. It's called Entertainment. It's got a boring name. It's like Mary Santora Comedy LLC or something.
Entertainment Incorporated.
It is. It's literally like that. And Byron Allen, he bought that the Black News Channel or whatever. When that thing flopped, he got it for pennies on the dollar. But he's a smart dude, and he's a good businessman, and he is crazy rich. He had a show. He would do all these syndicated shows. Did you ever see Comics Unleashed?
Yeah, that's how I recognize his name.
That's his show.
Yeah.
That was his show, and that was.
He goes, I'll just sit down with comics that are my friends and that I like. We'll package this show. Mm-hmm. We'll sell it to syndicators, and So you would turn on a local affiliate at 1 a.m. You see Comics Unleashed.
And it's basically people just doing their act, but acting like it was a conversation.
Right. Yes, it was like a PG version of Tough Crowd or Politically Incorrect or something like that. So Byron Allen, he wants a team. He tried to buy the Broncos last year. Didn't get that. He wants the Washington Commanders. And I guess Dan Snyder's being pressured to sell. Because it's an ego thing. It's got to be. Dan Snyder dug in his heels for a while. But now, if you're in the $5 billion range, at some point you just go, screw it, I'll sell it, and I'll walk away with tons of money. But Byron Allen would be, unbelievably, he'd be the first African-American owner in the NFL.
Yep.
If he bought the team. And that might work in his favor. Because somebody, these organizations feel like, we got one, we fixed it. So that might work in his favor. But Bezos and Jay-Z, as it turns out, Jay-Z is also a black guy.
What? Since when?
But, boy, when these guys, when they get it in their heads that they want a football team, because let's face it, they're not making any more teams, at least not right now.
No.
They're not making any more teams. So if you get one, that's a big deal. He's got a hot wife. He's got, listen, I'll say it, good-looking kids. He's doing fine.
Hot wife, hot kids. He's got it all, man.
Yeah. So, Byron Allen is trying to buy the Washington Commanders. He said, my first order of business, changing the name back to the Redskins. Boy, wouldn't that be a flex?
Oh, that'd be, yeah. That's
Because
not gonna happen.
But imagine this. Imagine if
Unless they go with potatoes.
you made if you made everyone's heads explode, because on day one they'd be like, this is amazing, the first black owner in the NFL. Day two, when he announces he's changing the name back to the Redskins, everybody would be screaming for Byron Allen's head. I can't believe it. What the who? How can he? Changing their name to the Washington Indians. Who can't even? Who? So that saga continues. We'll see who gets it. Be billionaires trying to outbid each other. You know, like Ryan Reynolds. He's not happy owning a soccer team overseas. He wants to buy the Ottawa Senators. He and Rob McElhenney own that this reality show about
It's
it.
cheaper to buy American senators. Am I right, guys?
Yeah! I'll tell you what.
Politics is corrupt.
You are correct.
Yeah.
This guy wants to buy himself some Canadian senators when he should be writing a check for something.
America first! Get that through your head, dude! America first! America first! You heard that before? What? America first! America first! What the hell, man? Dude! America first! America first! To all of you, let me explain one damn thing. America, America, America. Dude, you understand? America, America, America. My point is America's first. America, America, America. What the hell, man? Globalists, no! Goblins, no! This is it. Everybody get ready! America first! America first!
Oh, globalists and goblins. I love it. Yeah, I mean, the Senators are only like a 30-year-old team. The original Senators is like friggin' 1800s, but, you know. I always think of, there's a guy named Marion Hossa who started with the Senators. We had him on the Blackhawks for a while. Great player. But he had to retire from playing hockey. He retired from the Blackhawks because of his eczema. Which, in the world of skin disorders,
It's just itchy,
our own
right?
Cody Poundcake Brown, there's hope for him yet. He has eczema or psoriasis.
He has psoriasis. Cody has psoriasis.
Of the liver.
Psoriasis.
Psoriasis of the liver.
There's a rash in here.
I've got such flaky organs. I can't do anything about it. I hope it'll regenerate in a timely fashion.
I don't know if you can have psoriasis without having eczema. I think you can start out with having eczema.
This dude retired. He goes, I can't play anymore because
it
of this
messes
eczema.
with your joints.
Right, and your nerves, and the whole bit.
Like,
yeah, we lost a good player with that guy.
Like, it's not fatal or anything. I mean, I guess it can be, but like it wears. I mean, your skin is an organ itself, and then on top of that, it gives you arthritis, and so it wears down your joints. And if you don't take care of it, especially if you're competing, it can hurt. It can be very painful. That's why my roommates used to call me Cracky.
Cracky.
Yeah, that's why.
Cracky.
I'd walk up the stairs, they'd be walking on bloody stumps.
Here comes Cracky.
Here comes
Getting some
old
squeaky
Cracky.
time with Cracky.
Add some oil to my spine.
I'm going to give you $1,000 closer to 5:30. Next chance for you to grab one of those keywords to go fund yourself. When we get back here, I'll have the last couple of passes for you to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It is in theaters everywhere.